This is a hybrid practice, meaning we are doing a variety of different movements. Certainly we'll focus on hips and shoulders as most yoga practices do, but we'll also include some foundation work, both foundation for the feet and the hands, and we'll also focus on strength. This is a longer practice, so give yourself plenty of time to do the practice and to rest afterwards. We'll begin standing. Stand tall at the top of your mat. Look down at your feet. See if you can get a nice spread to the toes. Spread your fingers as well as a way to engage both the legs and the arms. Inhale, reach your arms up. Exhale, bend your knees to place your hands by your feet and step yourself back. Come to all fours position. In all fours position, draw your heart forward. On the exhale breath, reach your pelvis back. Keep your fingers spread. Inhale, rise up. Come slightly forward, look forward. Exhale, just draw back. Get a lot of fullness in your breath, in the movement. Inhale, draw your heart forward. Exhale, draw back. Inhale, come up to all fours position. Reach your right arm forward. And now bend your right elbow to reach your left knee. As you lift your left knee up, reach out, hug in before expanding out and draw in to reach out. Release your hand down. Come to all fours position first before lifting up to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, lift your heels high. Draw your heels down toward the earth. Again, lift high, tiptoe position. Exhale, reach down. One more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, draw down. Inhale, come to all fours position. In all fours position, reach your left arm forward, spread your left fingers, and reach out to feel the expansion of the side body. Now bend your left elbow as you lift your right knee in to meet your left elbow. Reach out, draw in, reach out. Nice fullness to your breath. Draw in and reach out. Release your left hand, release your right knee. With your toes tucked under, lift yourself up, downward facing dog. Look at your fingers. See if you can spread your fingers even more and put more weight toward the tips of the fingers and toward the base of the fingers, so you're not dropping so much weight right at the wrist creases. With your foundation strong in your hands, center your left foot. Reach your right leg up in the air, bend your right knee. Just get a nice thigh stretch here. Release your right foot down. Place it where the left foot is as you lift your left leg up. Bend your left knee. Same thing, just get a nice fullness to the front side of the body. All the way from your heart to your pelvis, to your knee. Release your foot down, take your feet hip distance apart. Look forward, walk your way to the front of the mat. Place your hands to the low back and rise up. Inhale, reach up and reach back. Exhale, take your hands down to the mat and bend your knees to step yourself back to all fours position again. In all fours position, place your right hand in the center of the mat, reach your left leg out, lift your left arm up and over as you face the long side of the mat. Release your left hand down. Come back to all fours position. Place your left hand in the center position to line it up with your knee. Reach your right leg back. Lift your right arm up and over for a nice stretch to the side body. Release your right hand down. Come to a plank position. So with the toes tucked under, draw your heart forward, shoulders slightly forward, and lower yourself down to the mat. Once you're on the mat, come to your fingertip top position. Draw your elbows in, rise up. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, soften. Reach your right arm forward. Roll over to the right side and let your head rest on your right arm. Bend your left knee. Draw it in toward your heart. Grab hold of the left foot. Now softly roll over. That's the hard part. Inhale, lift up. Maintaining the grace in the practice can sometimes be quite challenging. But inhale as you rise up. Can you have this nice softness and ease in the breath? Release down. One more time. Inhale, lift up through the strength of your back muscles. Exhale, soften. Reach your left arm forward. Roll over so that you can rest your head on your left arm. Bend your right knee, draw it up so that it's easy to grab hold of the right ankle or the top of the right foot. Now be graceful as you roll softly over, back to your belly. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, soften. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften. One more. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, soften. Place your hands alongside your ribs. Come through all fours position and downward facing dog, or if you choose, you can come to child's pose. So lift yourself up if you're coming to downward facing dog. If you're in child's pose, you can also do this nice stretch that we'll do, but just a slightly different way. If you're in downward facing dog, lift your heels high and draw your pelvis toward the right side. So you're just pivoting on your feet. If you're in child's pose, walk your hands over to the right side so that you can get a stretch to the left side ribs. Breathe in and just expand. See if you can keep a nice foundation through the left hand as you do this. If you're in downward facing dog, lift your heels up now in downward facing dog. If you're in child's pose, walk your hands over toward the left side. In downward dog, pivot so that your heels now are directed toward the left side. And breathe in to expand through the right side ribs. Breathe in deep. And breathe out long. Come back to the center position. Walk your hands back to your feet so that you're in a forward bend at the very back edge of the mat. Place your hands right above your knees. Straighten your arms. Keep your knees bent. As you inhale, draw your heart forward. As you exhale, look in toward your heart and draw from the navel back to the spine. Inhale, heart moves forward, chin lifts. Exhale. One more time. Inhale and exhale. Now slowly take your hands back to the mat. Walk your hands back to downward facing dog. Come to downward facing dog before walking your feet to your hands. And now you're at the front of your mat. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Pause in Utkatasana, this home base of standing poses. Breathe in deep and out long. Enjoy the fullness to your breath. On the in-breath, reach up again. On the exhale breath, take your hands down to the mat. Step back to either all fours or plank position. Look at your hands. See if you can engage the fingertips a little bit more fully. It's almost like you're clawing the mat with the fingertips. Now turn toward the right side, and as you face the right side edge of the mat, reach your left arm up. Those of you on your knees, you can stay on your knees. Turn to the side and reach your left arm over for a nice stretch to the side body. Release your hand down. Come to a plank position again. In that plank position, once again, re-engage before taking your weight to your left side. Stack your right foot. Reach your right arm up. Reach your right arm over. Release your right hand down. Come back to a plank position and lower yourself all the way to the mat very slowly. Once on the mat, fingertip top position again. Hug your elbows in and lift up. Exhale to soften. Inhale, rise up. Exhale, soften. One more. Inhale, lift up. And exhale, soften down. Come to all fours position. To step your right foot just to the outside of your right hand. So the foot can be off the mat slightly if you wish. That gives you plenty of room to walk your hands just to the inside of your stance. Maybe walk your hands just a little bit further away from you. Release your head. Look at your right knee. Try to keep it tracking right over the right ankle. You can stay here if you wish, or if you wish to thread your left hand under the right hand to come to a slight twist with your right hand to your low back, your left hand to the ankle. Turn your heart toward your right knee. Feel free to enjoy the fullness here with a nice hip opener. Release your hand down. Release both hands to the mat and come to all fours position again. Step your left foot to the outside of your left hand. Walk your hands over at the diagonal. Draw your heart down toward the mat. You can come to your forearms if that's available to you, or just kind of sneak your hands just a little bit further at the diagonal. Take a look at your left knee again so that it's tracking over the ankle. See if you can get as much extension to the side body as possible. Maybe inch your left fingers a little bit further. Now, if you wish, you can thread the right hand to place your right hand at the ankle and free your left hand to take it to the outer knee. Twist. Turn yourself into the pose just a little bit deeper. And release yourself. Take both hands back to the mat and come back to child's pose. Take your knees nice and wide apart. Take your inner big toes together. If your knees aren't happy with this pose, just keep your pelvis right over your knees rather than going so far back. But see if you can keep your elbows lifted, your fingertip tops moving forward. and your breath so full, so you can expand so fully. Breathe in deep and breathe out long. Keep a nice fullness to your breath, a nice softness to your facial muscles. Keep inching your fingers further if that's available to you, and drawing your pelvis back a little bit more. Now make your way back to all fours position as you're ready. Step your right foot right between your hands. Inch your toes forward. Now come toward a runner's lunge, where your right heel is down, your toes are lifted. You may want to just widen your stance a little bit, because you'll want to balance here as you lift yourself up to come to this runner's lunge. See about just drawing forward as you draw your toes toward your heart. Again, it's a balance pose, so see if you can keep a nice steadiness, a nice engagement of the back leg as we bow forward toward the right leg again. And even one more time. Just draw forward. Keep a nice engagement of the straight front leg, and your toenails are really working on the back leg. Now see about expanding, reaching your arms up and to the side. Nice wing spread here as you reach your right hand back, your left hand forward. Just draw your left hand down toward your right foot and reach up. Try that one more time. Reach down as your extended right hand reaches up and maybe even over. It's quite a balanced pose for you here. Release your hands and come to all fours position. In all fours position, let's trade side. If you feel like your knee could use a little padding, by all means, you can double fold the mat. I like a little padding on this side. So take your left foot forward if you haven't already. Straighten your left foot. Lift your toes up. And as you feel like you've got your balance, with your back toes really working, your hands to your hips or your waist, draw forward just slightly. Feel a little stretch to the back side of the leg. Lift up, draw forward, and lift up. And again, draw forward, lift up. Spread your wings and reach your right hand down. Take your left arm up and reach it over before releasing your hands to the mat. Step back. If you folded your mat, unfold it so that you can come to downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, as if you're just walking your dog, you're just bending one knee, bending the other. So you're lifting up on tiptoes on one heel before drawing it down. And you don't want to go too fast on this. Just see if you can bring a little bit more awareness to the back side of the legs as you walk your dog. In this hybrid practice, we've done a little bit of hip work, a lot of arm strengthening work, foundation work. Now let's come to some standing poses here. So as you come back to full downward facing dog, walk your hands back to your feet again. Place your hands right above your knees again. Straighten your arms. And on the next in-breath, lift your arms away from your knees. Keep your knees bent. Look down though. See if you can draw your knees back slightly, so they're just a little bit more aligned over the ankles. And now inhale to rise up. Come to stand, face the long edge of your mat, step wide, turn your right toes out. With your right knee bent, take your hands right on top of the right knee and just allow the left arm to just swing easily as a way to just kind of free your left shoulder. Now can you reach it down toward the mat and turn your heart toward the inner right knee? Reach your right arm up if that's available to you, or just keep your right hand right on the knee. Release both hands back to the top of the right knee where we started and rise up. Try the other side. Turn your right toes in so the right foot is parallel to the back edge. Bend your left knee. Take both hands to the top of the left knee. From here, just bow in slightly. Release your right arm. And again, just allow it to be free here for a moment. Little fullness here before you plant your hand. If you'd like to use your block, by all means, do that. Maybe you can even turn your heart toward the inner knee. Maybe even reach your left arm up. And release your left hand down. With both hands to the knee or thigh, inhale, rise up. From here, parallel your feet. Pull in toward the midline. Bend your knees slightly. Take the tops of the thighs back. Take your fingertips down and walk your hands a little bit further than shoulder width apart. With your elbows bent, with your knees bent, draw your elbows slightly forward and release your head. Just nod your head yes, shake it no, as a way to release your neck and feel a lot of freedom. With your knees slightly bent, place your hands to your low back, rise up. Now turn your right toes out, lift your arms up. Keep your legs straight and take your right hand down to your right shin. Enjoy a nice lengthening of the side body. Keep that length as you lift your left arm over your head and breathe in to the expansiveness of the side body. On the next inhale breath, root down to inhale and rise up. Release your hands, come to the opposite side, turn your left toes out. Pull into the midline to engage your legs so fully before reaching out to expand your wings. Take your left hand down. Get this nice fullness again to the side body. If you have a block and a block feels better, by all means you can use that. Keep your back leg really strong before reaching your right arm up and over. Enjoy the fullness that you get in the breath. Root down to lift yourself out of the pose. Exhale, release your hands. Now parallel your feet again. With parallel feet, you pull into the midline, bend your knees just slightly so you can take your pelvis back easily. Interlace your fingers behind your back. With the fingers interlaced, reach your interlaced fingers up toward the sky. Elbows are slightly bent here. Draw your wrist creases a little bit closer toward each other. Reach up. Release your hands down. Heel toe your feet toward each other until the feet are hip distance apart. Place your hands to your low back and rise up. Now let's come to the floor. So bend your knees. Take your feet just a little wider apart, and turn your toes out. As you turn your toes out, just draw your pelvis down. Place your hands right in front of your heart in this goddess pose, and inhale, lift yourself up. Let's do that one more time. This time go a little further. So as you press your hands together to keep a nice engagement of the arms, you draw your pelvis down and lift up. On the next one, we'll come all the way down. And if that's not working for you, by all means, just come to a seated position. So bend your knees, draw yourself down, down, down. Can you make it all the way down? And softly land yourself on the mat. Oh, so soft. Once on the mat, draw your left shin forward, lift up your right ankle, and just move the ankle side to side as a way to get a little bit more openness in the hip. And if possible, can you hold on to the right heel with your left hand? Can you draw the right shin bone a little bit closer to you? I've just hooked the calf muscle so that I can draw in a little bit. Maybe you can even wrap your left eye of the elbow into the arch of the foot and move to a deeper pose. We call this the baby cradle pose. And if you imagine the baby's head as your toes, you don't want the baby's head to be too low. That would not be good for baby. So try to keep your toes lifted as if you're cradling the baby with ease. Now release your right leg down with the right shin bone parallel to the edge of the mat. See how the left side is now. Hold on to your left heel, lift up, and we're just moving slowly as a way to just kind of get the lubrication of the hip to be a little bit more responsive in our actions, as if to prepare the hip to go a little bit deeper in the pose. Now, maybe you can even hook the arm under the calf muscle to bring the foot a little bit closer as you continue rocking your baby with the head lifted, with the toes lifted. Or maybe even get the eye of the elbow right into the arch of the foot to go a little bit deeper. And release now out of the pose. Now with that work behind us, let's see if we can go a little bit deeper. So reach your left leg out. Draw your right knee in. This time, don't let the knee go wide. Keep it hugging in toward the right ribs. Lift your right foot up slightly. And see about threading your right hand to the inside so you can press down through the right hand. You're still pulling in the knee. You're still pulling the right knee in. The right leg will want to slide down your arm, but see if you can keep it lifted. Place your right hand, and with your hands planted, keep on working the right arm against the right thigh. Hug in with the right leg. Now release your right foot down. Let's try the opposite side. So bend your left leg. Lift your left foot up. Draw the heel back. And when you feel like you've got as much hip flexion as this side allows, take your left hand down. Press your left hand. Keep on pulling in. Left knee is pulling in so the leg doesn't slide down the arm. You can plant both hands, get as tall as possible, and release your foot down. Come to lie down on your back. And as you lie down on your back, take your feet as wide apart as your mat is. Just let the knees just draw over to the right side. Reach your left arm up and over your head so you get a nice stretch to the side body. Lift your knees up. Take your knees over to your opposite side. Reach your right arm up and over. And just breathe into the right side ribs. And take your legs up. Draw your right knee in, kind of similar to what we were doing when we were seated. Take your right foot up, bend your right knee. Can you thread your right hand behind the right knee? Hold on either to the ankle or the baby toe side of the foot and draw your right knee down as you stretch your left leg out. Just give the left hand a little pressure on the left thigh as a way to create a little bit more balanced action. Release your right foot, bend both knees to plant both feet on the mat. Step your feet nice and wide apart again. Reach your knees over to the right side. Reach your left arm up. And if it's available to you, see about taking your right ankle to the outer left knee. And if that's not working for your knee, by all means, just back off. Take your right foot back to the edge of the mat. Lift your knees up. Take your knees to the opposite side. Take your right arm up and over your head. Take your left foot just to the outer right knee. And once again, get this nice expansiveness to the side body. Park your left foot down. Lift your knees up. Step your feet hip distance apart. Draw your left knee in with so much hip flexion before you lift your left foot up. Can you weave your left arm to the inside of your left knee and find a place to hold on to the foot or the shin or the baby toe side of the foot as you can work the leg against the arm to get a nice opening. Now straighten the right leg. Reach the right hand to press the right thigh down a bit to get a little bit more engagement to the right thigh. And release your left foot. Bend both knees again. Take your feet nice and wide apart again. Draw your knees over to the right side. If it's available, take your right ankle to the outer left knee. Reach your left arm up. Now reach your right arm up and give the wrist of the left arm just a little pull with the right hand and reach it over toward the right side to get a little bit more fullness in this stretch. Park your right foot back to the mat. Lift your knees up. Draw your knees to the opposite side, and as we've done before, take your left ankle to the outer right knee if that works for you. Take your right arm up. Take your left arm to reach the right wrist or the right forearm, and reach your right arm over toward the left side. So as you repeat the actions of this pose, just notice how many different areas there are to go into in a single pose. Just through your breath can you find a little bit more inner spaciousness. Now release the hold of your wrist. Take your feet hip distance apart with the knees bent. Draw both knees in. Give them a big hug in. Take your feet up. Hold on to the baby toe side of your feet with your knees nice and wide apart. Just allow yourself in this happy baby pose to just rock side to side as a way to massage your back muscles. Keep a nice ease in this movement. And begin to just soften your breath. You can soften your eyes. As you're ready, you can place your feet to the mat and let them reach out so that you can rest your legs, and the heaviness of your legs feels like you can really relax in the pelvic area. With your eyes closed, with your breath easeful, you breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. Through the breath, you allow for a refinement of your own inner posture. How can you make this ending pose, Savasana, a pose where you revitalize, you rejuvenate, you restore, you redirect, breathe in through the nose and out through the nose. You breathe in deep. You breathe out long. You breathe in deep. And you breathe out long. Now enjoy a free and natural breath. Just release in the afterglow of your practice. Enjoy this time in Savasana. Namaste.